Jordan Peterson was on with Theo Vaughn, and he had an example that he gave when talking, and people are comparing it to a scene that Javier Bardem does in the movie Skyfall. And I love this because what I really like the idea of is that Jordan Peterson isn't reading medical journals. He's not doing, he's not reading Psychology Today. He's going around and watching James Bond movies, and that's where he's getting his information. But really what this is the media just wants to smear him.
Melania Trump got hate for having speeches that were plagiarized from Michelle Obama, and I'm sure that Obama did the same thing with other presidents' speeches.
Didn't Vivek do that with Obama too?
Yeah, like the speech writers are the ones plagiarizing. He would have no idea, and I've heard people repeat the Rat King theory before. It's not necessarily copied from the movie. But do you want to play it?
Yeah, we'll play. We might get copyrighted for this one, but if we do, I'll clip it out later. But we can show the.
It's a direct side by side, and it's not. He's not quoting it directly.
No,
it's
yeah,
not like he sat there in the mirror practicing it.
This is because the media wants to smear Jordan Peterson because they don't like Jordan Peterson.
He can't do anything right. I mean, Tim talks about the rats in the bucket of water all the time.
Yeah.
The rat utopia.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Is this not it?
No, I gotta refresh. Dun, 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 dun. Is the internet slow? Please don't be slow. Here it is. Okay, here we go.
My mother showed me.
Oh,
Village is full of rats.
oh yeah.
Okay, so now you go catch 10 rats.
Okay.
You throw them in a pit.
Okay.
Soon, there is one rat.
So how do you get rats off an island? My grandmother showed me. We buried an oil drum and hinged the lid. Then we wired coconut to the lid as bait, and the rats would come for the coconut. And boing, 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 boing. They would fall into the drum. They start eating each other until there are only two left, the two survivors.
Then you take the remaining rat and you let him go. And soon there are no rats in the village.
And then what? Do you kill them?
This is such a reach from the media. I love it. They're just
Release them
evil.
into the trees.
It's not even
And now
close,
they don't eat
actually.
coconut anymore.
Well, that's the
No,
point.
they
The
only-
point is the media is reaching because they don't like Jordan Peterson.
Is this supposed to be like the gotcha of the century?
Yeah, no, it is. It's supposed to be a gotcha of the century because Jordan Peterson made a similar example that doesn't sound anything like the scene from the movie. But I do like the idea that Jordan Peterson looks at a picture of Javier Bardem before he goes out to
He kind of messed up the analogy.
Yeah.
But he also commented on Bill Maher's appearance on the Joe Rogan.
Maher?
Bill Maher?
Mar? I'm just.
I don't know.
I thought my brain was about to be melted. It's Mar, right?
Okay, I've heard both.
Okay.
Bill
I've
Maher.
actually been to his show once, though. I
Okay.
went to a live recording of his show with my family when we were in LA.
Oh, did you get to meet him?
Nah,
No,
we didn't, but it was cool.
But yeah, he
went on Joe
basically-
Rogan,
Yeah.
and he made a very stunning and brave statement condemning medicalizing children,
Yeah.
which is very
Stunning, very brave.
revolutionary. I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
You want to play the video?
Yeah. All right. Oh, do I? I don't know if I have the.
It's in the Newsweek article.
There. No, I have the Theo Vaughn one. I don't have the. I don't have the one you're talking
have
about
it.
here. Oh no, I got it
It's
here.
like the
Never mind. I got it here. Here we go.
Orange and white.
It was, now this is just me, but I'm allowed my opinion. If I was 100 billion% convinced I was born in the wrong body, I still wouldn't do anything to my body because medical considerations come first. The idea that you can just take some sort of puberty blockers or just snap on, snap off organs?
Yeah.
Without really hurting myself medically and taking years off my life?
Right.
Is ridiculous. And so I would somehow make it work with the equipment I was born with, because we're just not that advanced medically to make it work and still be healthy.
Yeah.
I
And
love
Jordan
that Joe Rogan is just sitting there and he's like,
Yeah.
Have you ever tried DMT?
It's like so.
And
So
Jordan
anyways.
Peterson says it's controversial if you're a greedy, sadistic, psychopathic surgeon butcher or a cowardly, lying, ideologically possessed therapist enabler.
What do
There
you
is a
guys-
culture of obsession with therapy.
What do you guys make of Jordan Peterson's way of writing tweets in like haiku-esque prose? Like, what's the thought process behind that?
He doesn't do any like favors for himself in terms of looking cool.
Is it making him look uncool, in your opinion?
A little bit. He's,
Why?
you know, I think that he is a great role model, but I don't think like he makes himself.
It's artistic.
Yeah, no, I love him, but I think in terms of like cool points, it
The suits don't work. The drip on the suits isn't good enough for you. Doesn't do it for you.
He does have those pretty like. He's got style and he's well put together, and you know, I think he's awesome, but I won't say they make him look cool.
Yeah, I look. It's weird because he developed like he brings out a certain ire in the left that I find kind of fascinating, because I look at him as somebody they would love. Like if they agreed with him, if he agreed with them, they would love to use him as an example of like here's a well put together. Critical thinker who agrees with us. You know, he's a doctor, this and that.
He's so
like,
nice.
and he's like that. But he like it's almost like because he's so nice most of the time, it makes them angrier.
They're even trying to insult his dashing two-toned suits.
Why would you do that? The suits are the best part.
It's a veritable serve. Yeah. Like, I would say if it weren't a serve, it is. Yeah. I mean, they look great.
Do you think Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson has a history like of classes where he dissects movies and talks about what it means psychologically and stuff like that. I always enjoyed those. Like he did the one about Sleeping Beauty and the one about, did you do Snow White? Or he did one about Sleeping Beauty, and all of them were really, really good and in depth.
Are they on YouTube?
Yeah.
I watched some of his like biblical lectures back when he was first like really blowing up. And I don't think that they resonate with Christians as much as non-Christians, really, because it's like more of a friendly entryway into like reading the Bible, is to think about it as like, what are the psychological insights and storytelling insights that we can find from this without actually engaging the Bible if we take it seriously. Like if we take what it says literally, like that's too much of a leap for a lot of people.
So like they see him as like a bridge between
maybe
how it's perceived by those who believe.
But I don't think the Bible can be properly read unless you let it take itself seriously and you interpret it as also historical accounts.
That's got to be like a very hard barrier of entry for a lot of people, right? Yeah. Like there's a plenty of people like
even for Jordan Peterson, like, who's still like no one can nail him down as like he's this, he's that. Like he identifies as this faith. Like no one can really pin him down anywhere.
But I'm somebody who's not religious, but you know, like sees a lot of like the good that religion has done. I mean, you know, on all sides, but like I've seen like what it does for people who do believe, and it's like you wish you had that, but there's just something about it's sad that like you can't really do it until you believe, but until you believe,
I almost see something more sinister in keeping the Bible in this like in these safe boundaries for people who don't want to engage with faith like as it actually is. Like that's more sinister, is to like treat it like it's literature only than deal with it as it's meant to be read. But I mean, I also wanted to talk about the Bill Maher comments because it's just I read things like this and it's also tiresome.
Chat, we good? Hold on one second.
Is the stream having issues?
We good, chat? I'm asking because it gave us no data for a second and then gave me box, and it was at 118, and that is not something I'm wishing to relive.
Not 118 again.
Yeah, not 118 again.
Oh, what is this 118?
So
there was a period of time where every day at exactly an hour and 18 minutes, the stream would go down.
Oh my gosh.
We found out that it was a computer issue, but if that happens again,
we're at an hour and 17.
But it's an hour and 18 on the OBS side, so we're good.
I think we're okay.
Cool.
Please not again.
Okay, back to.
But anyway,
spinning wheel of death. Oh no, that was someone chatting. Yeah. Okay.
Bill Maher is only taking this stance when it's become culturally acceptable to oppose like kids transitioning. When it's like, well, thanks, Captain Obvious. There are other people who've been saying the same thing that got shouted down and tarred and feathered, and you didn't really feel like defending them a few years ago. But now that it's acceptable to go on Joe Rogan and say that like it's obvious, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I thought that the whole time. And then eventually when the cultural norm hopefully shifts to, you know, seeing all of this as insane, and not just when it affects children but adults as well, then he's gonna be like, oh yeah, I thought that the whole time.
Yeah,
like I hate that type of gaslighting.
A lot of them will come around and be like, because a lot of them, like,
It's cowardly.
What it is the ones who profess to agree with it in public but maybe disagree with it in private. What's happened is, like, in their brain, they're going to be like, well, I did disagree in my head, and they might even be able to convince themselves, you know, that they didn't support it, even if all evidence, you know, outward evidence proves to the contrary that they did. A lot of them will be able to, because it'll be more, it's less painful than having to pretend like you weren't against it the whole time.
Yeah, and they can be like, oh, well, I still, like, I disagree with it now, and other people don't feel the same way that I do and still agree with these things, but you still waited until it was safe for your career to speak out.
When it was
not when other
strategically
people,
beneficial.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, not when other people spoke out and at least risked losing everything.
Yeah.
I was talking to Taylor Silverman about this earlier today because she was commenting on this professional competitive longboarder who's a female. She spoke out in a social media post about how men are encroaching upon this sport, and that she basically said, like, you know, in all other contexts except for sports, this shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. I mean, if it's a locker room, if it's a bathroom, if it's a changing room, blah, 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 like, trans women are women and they should be welcome in all these spaces, except when it affects me and my thing that I want to keep to myself. Now I'm going to oppose it because it's inconvenient now that this issue has personally affected my life.
Right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.